wish you guys knew what a chore it was to address the media after a game, because it really is a chore, because you win by 20 and you want to be respectful to the other team, so if you think you played bad, then that's insulting to them. You try to figure out what questions you guys are going to ask, and that's always a adventure. And you look at the game and you shoot 51%, 42 from the three, have 10 turnovers, and I felt we looked real jagged. I'm trying to think of the right word. Anytime I go above 4 letters, I get stumped for an answer. So, but it was just like, there was nothing smooth. 6 letters. I got to come up with something better. But it was not a real. Just didn't seem like we executed right, and very disappointed in some of our defense. I did not think we guarded the dribble drive very good, and some of you saw Nebraska, so partly I was coaching once that second part of the second half for the next game. So I was disappointed with some of our guys, because Nebraska's got a team that's going to be way more physical, more like our old teams, and so I was trying to get that through to our guys. I felt bad for Tyson Walker. He had 8 of the best looks a guy could have, and it just, couldn't buy a shot, and he's been shooting well. Marty's been shooting real well from the line and went 0 for 3. But I would say things like, we line up for the free throw line. I think 6 times only one guy stepped in, and there was another guy empty on the other side. We go to our baseline out of bounds, and we're walking into them. We look like a team out of sorts, and that falls on the coach, so the coach got to do a better job of that. But we had good practices. I think it's hard to go 2 games in 23 days. I do. And I think you got to give Jim and their team credit. I like his team. He's got tough kids. The Jones kid who played with Trey up in Minnesota is a hell of a player. We actually did a decent job on him. I thought some of those other guys played a little better. Number 11 really played well, and they drove us a little bit more than I'd like. So, Adams did a good job of that. We're going to have to get better at that. But getting Malik back, I think you could all tell would really help. We didn't want to push the envelope at the end for no reason, but he felt pretty good, and he shot the ball pretty good. He was tired, but defended pretty good. He just brings calmness to me, and that's hard to do. So if there's questions, I'll answer them, and if not, I won't.
Tom, you mentioned Malik. First of all, real quick, he was 100% fine. It was just sort of minutes not to put him back in there.
Yeah, we said we were going to go to 15. We went to 12 and a half, and if I would have needed him at the end, I would have played him, but because I could have. But since I didn't, I even thought of playing him because he needs to get some play. But it's still early. It's still week 6, so just me and him talked about it. We made an educated decision.
So how would you, you kind of went through this with Jaden. They're different players, though, a little bit. So how would you sort of assess where he is and what you can expect out of him in these?
Well, his injury wasn't as bad as Jaden's. He didn't get operated on. Number 3, if you remember, Jaden went 9 weeks and then played for 2 weeks, then re-injured it. Didn't re-injure it, I think just, it's a scary thing for athletes now, what they see on TV, everybody's sitting out. Usually it's a month for a hangnail and 2 months for, bloody nose. So it's hard. It's hard on these guys to figure out what they, what's going through their mind and but medically, I feel very comfortable where he is. Jaden was really comfortable, and then the second thing happened, and that's hard. It's hard on a guy, and so Malik, I think he's good, he's tough, he's strong. I think he'll be fine, but I think it'll take, Jaden's still not back defensively. There's no way, because he can guard the world, and he's still not, maybe some of that might be conditioning, but he is coming, and his shot is getting better. I don't think it'll take Malik as long, because Jaden was out 13 weeks at one point. And Malik has been out, I think, 6. So I think he'll get back quicker. I do. But that doesn't mean in the next week.
But there are things, even in the short term, you see the advantages of having.
Oh yeah. That's a great deduction out of that game, boy. But but it wasn't just that he made some shots either. I mean, he communicated, he threw some passes. He brings a calmness, but we got to get him back where he's getting after some people too. The only negative I had with AJ, and I thought AJ did a lot of really good things, but he's going to learn that he's got to be a jerk. He's got to be more of a jerk, not to his coaches, to the players, and he's got to be more demanding of them. We have an out of bounds play, boom, that thing's got to rock. And so tomorrow, we'll spend time just on that alone in free throws. I've always said my special teams practices of old were when the ball is dead, that's when we're alive. And those were jump balls, free throws, baseline, sideline, out of bounds plays after timeouts. Today, when the ball was dead, we were in Pluto, and that's not good. And I haven't seen that, so I'm hoping it's just everybody trying to adjust to going 2 days and then coming back. But that takes some leadership too, and point guards are going to be held accountable for that.
Tom, you got 2 of their starters in foul trouble. You had the bonus with 13-10 left, shot 30 free throws to their 10. How much of the time off was devoted to being aggressive, attacking the basket, making things happen?
You guys are 2 for 2, man. Santa must have brought you to basketball knowledge.
The state journal thing.
That's exactly what we did try to do. We spent a lot of time trying to be more aggressive. We spent a lot of time trying to not fade away. Now Tyson had those couple, and maybe that hurt us a little bit. He probably should have pulled up, but that's the weirdest rule. If the guy jumps, some guys are gonna get killed in that rule. But whatever. I didn't think it was a bad call the way the rule is. But at the same time, that was a point of emphasis for the 3-4 days. We were one of the best free throw shooting teams in the league. Now we're dropping a little, but we had gotten there the least amount of anybody in the league. So that was a plus. I thought the other minus, and it shows the kind of lack of really aggressiveness. Jaden at halftime hadn't had a rebound. And Marty and Joey had 21 between them, but nobody else did a lot. So we got to do a better job rebounding the ball still, and all those things will be fun to see if we can correct in the next 5 days.
What did you like from the bench play today? It seemed like guys like Trey Holloman, I think he notched 7, and he doesn't seem to pull the trigger a lot offensively, but got some things going. So I guess what did you think of that unit as a whole?
I thought Trey Holloman, Malik Hall, I thought Pierre Brooks actually played better. He made some plays. He had his moments when he didn't do some things, but he actually made some plays, made some nice passes. Kohler was a little struggling early, and then at the end he came back and I thought played better. I thought our bench was pretty good. Now, what we don't have right now is any kind of rotation, and that's going to take. We went back to the old DJ and Tom. Let's look at the minutes. Let's look at the substitution a little bit by minutes, and then right away Tyson gets in foul trouble, and that kind of screws that up. But we stuck to it a little bit with some guys, and I thought it was good. A couple guys, Joey ended up playing 30. What did AJ play? Probably 28 or 9. So 31, 29 with those 2 guys. Not bad, maybe a little less, but the other guys, we did a pretty good job of getting them in. So we'll have to work on that as a staff. That'll be something that we got to do a better job.
Tom, when you got here, you mentioned that you were a little upset with the defense. Buffalo came in as the 12th fastest team in the country. That was the one area of defense that you guys did well, held them to 6 fast break points. They were averaging 19. What worked in the transition defense for you guys tonight?
Well, like the fouls, that was, even today, which you never go live, on the day of a game when you're walked through, but we went a little liver, and we did it twice with our transition defense. So the point of emphasis was triple. They get 19 to 21 points in their transition, and very good at it. I think Jim does a good job with them, and so I just think we emphasized it, and that was one of the things they did a pretty good job of. But when you're scoring the ball a little bit better, I mean, we were shooting 54% at one time. It's not as easy to get the ball out. Not many teams run off makes. There's more off misses, and to be honest with you, they get a lot of fast break points off turnovers. They turn people over 16 times a game, and so that was one of the pluses for us. We had 10, but 5 of them were charges and moving screens, so those are dead ball turnovers, and they didn't get much off that, so that was encouraging also.
Trey Holloman is a guy, you don't know how much you're going to need him, but it turned into what looks like a decent insurance policy for you. I mean, 17 minutes tonight, 5 points, or was it 7 points, no turnovers. What is he, in terms of your trust in him, as you head into the teeth of your Big Ten schedule, where is that?
He really guards. I mean, he gets after it. He's a little scrawny right now, he's got to put on 20 pounds, but he's very athletic, guards well. His assisted turnovers with this, I think he was 18-3 or 17-3, so he's up there around 20-3 assisted turnovers, which is off the charts. He has not turned the ball over much. That's really good. I think what I got is I got some guys that, understand and listen. I got really good students. I just need a little tougher kid right now. So Trey brings that, but his mind is tough. He's a football player. He was a fairly big recruit. We recruited him a little in football, but his body doesn't listen to his mind because his body isn't developed yet. So that's going to take some time. But I was very pleased with Trey, to be honest with you. We had a lot of guys that had moments. We were not real consistent. And every coach, every fan should want consistency. That's what you really want in a program. And that was the one thing I harped on before the game. But it's just hard to figure out, bringing a new guy in Malik, and also, trying to play a few more guys and then have those 2 games in 23 days is damn near ridiculous. I even got tired of practicing, and that's un-American for me, but it was a little harder to stay motivated to practice. You're going 2 days, you're doing this and that. So it's just, it'll get down now where we'll get some days to prepare for Nebraska, and you're going to see it's a much different Nebraska team. Nebraska and Northwestern have gotten the defensive call, and those are 2 of the best defensive teams in the league. And I think Nebraska's one of the toughest teams, so we're going to have to get better here in a hurry.
Tom, how great was it to see Dane back in the Breslin Center? And what was that kind of working with him from, in a different way, I suppose?
Yeah, I think he was nervous to interview me. I told him, I can't chew you out now, you're interviewing me, so don't worry about it, You're not an assistant no more. But it was great, happy for him. It's been a rough go, as I've had a few different guys go through some tough times as far as that goes. And, it was fun, he came in yesterday, we spent some time today. I don't know where, I think he'll want to get back into coaching, but when you want to get back into coaching, if you ask the Pat Rileys of the world, sometimes it's good to go into TV for a little bit. And as long as you don't get soft, because you never lose a game when you're in TV, it's like being a reporter. You guys never lose a game, but it was good to have him back. It was good.
If you had to, if somebody told you 9-4 after those first 2 months, 1-1 in the Big Ten, pretty healthy squad going forward into January, would have you signed up for what you've endured and where you guys are?
I think I would have, you hope, you really didn't know what was going on in the Big Ten. Like, you'd hope to be 2-0 if you look back and you say you got Penn State and Northwestern. And yet I thought the Northwestern loss, they were pretty good. And I thought the Penn State win over there is a great win, and it turned out to be true, as you saw what they've done ever since. So the league's a little topsy-turvy, and I don't think it's maybe quite as good elite level, but maybe 3-4 teams like we've had other years. But I think the base of the league is, I don't know. I mean, those were the 2 worst teams in the league for a lot of years. They had Purdue beat, Nebraska did. I don't know. There's some really good teams, you know, and so it's hard to say. You start looking at who do we play once, who do we play twice. There's a lot of variables. What we got to do is just keep getting better, and we got to stay healthy. Now we got to get healthy and stay healthy. But Malik, it's going to be a couple weeks. You know, he'll gradually into it, but it's going to take, you know, a little bit of time. But there's no question that losing him was a big loss. I mean, he's a 4-year guy. He understood the game. He understood what it takes. He's got the ability to guard 4 different positions. He's the most versatile of the guys I had, and that's the one we lost. So no excuse. It's just the way it is. But I think we're going to be a better team. You know, we got to get better quick though. You know, I look at this and I say we won by 21. What the hell's wrong with you? And yet, I think when I watch the film, I'm going to feel worse rather than better because I didn't like the little things we did. So we'll get to work on those. A couple more good questions. This is your last chance in 2022.
You mentioned it was a little bit jagged. With the defense, was it just like recognition a couple times, guys just fogging out once or twice?
You know, I didn't think it was recognition. I thought it was, let me take the ball and go from point A to point B, and scouting report says it drives left. So maybe we gotta do a better job of putting left and right on the shoulders of our scout team guys, because you know, we say drives left. If you're guarding a guy, that's to your right. I swear to God, I think some guys got mixed up. There was a couple times it was a joke, and but did a hell of a job of keeping my cool on that tonight, because that's disappointing. Now that's something you should be able to control, because everybody's right there. I mean, that's you know, a guy hits a hellacious shot, so be it. Just like our guys missed some shots early. You'd have been proud of me. I didn't say a word to anybody. But when you make those kind of mental mistakes, tomorrow's film session will be, it'll be like an early New Year's celebration. There'll be a lot of fireworks. It'll be fun.
Anything else, guys?
Well, you guys, you know, have had a hell of a 2022. I hope you, ladies, I hope you all had a good Christmas. I hope you get what you want for the new year. And let's hope that we all take a big step forward. Stay healthy, stay happy, behave yourself on New Year's Eve too. I don't want you out running the streets. You got that?
Yep.
All right. Take care, guys.